Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Behind the Scenes series. This is where Jack, who's behind the camera now, is going to be recording what it's like to be a property investor and a portfolio landlord. I'm going to share the good and the bad with you so you know exactly what to expect and what it's like. As I've already alluded to, Jack is behind the camera. Jack's a family friend and he's working with me. Say hello, Jack. Jack's going to help manage the portfolio and also get involved on the investing side and help source deals for those investors that work with me. Now, we've got a few things we need to do today, and in no particular order. I've got a leak coming into a property, so we've got to call the roofer, get him there. I've also got a few remortgages on the go, and I'm with the solicitor later on to do the independent legal advice. As some of you may know, if you're buying or remortgaging property within a limited company, you have to get independent legal advice and sign a personal guarantee so that if the company does fall and you're not able to repay that mortgage, then you're personally liable for that. Again, it's a bit of paperwork, but it has to be done and all lenders will insist on it. And in fact, whilst I'm talking to you about this, let me just show you all the paperwork involved. So as I've already mentioned on the channel, if you can mortgage for 5 years, try and do that if you're not looking to withdraw equity, because you'll see we've got lots of paperwork over here. I mean, these are just 3 remortgages we've got going through, right? So, and this is just like a small snippet of the paperwork that needs to be signed. So try and avoid all that time and avoid all that hassle and fix for 5 years, because you don't want to be doing this every 2 years, trust me. Right, so we're giving the roofer a call now, see what he says. Hope he picks up.
Hello.
Hey Chris, how you doing? It's Marco from Balmoral Place, Halifax. You okay?
Hello, Marco. You all right? How are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, Chris. Do you remember me? You did a job for me a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Down at Balmoral. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Good. We've got a small little leak coming in. Again, the same apartment as last time. Are you able to kind of have a quick look at some point this week and sort it out?
I can do. Yeah. No worries. When's best?
Any day except Thursday.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to say it's got quite bad weather this week, isn't it? It's going to be on and off all the time. So what I might do is just nip in between and have a look.
Yeah, that's fine. The tenant's in there all week except Thursday. So if you just let me know when you want to get there, I'll get him to meet you outside to let you in.
Okay, mate. I'll give you a ring.
All right, nice one, Chris. Just let me know when, and we'll take it from there. Okay.
I will do. All right.
Take care, buddy. Goodbye. Well, we'll see if he gives me a ring, but he's a good guy, Chris. I've used him before. If you're looking for a roofer in Halifax, I can definitely recommend him. Just shoot me a message. So today is a Wednesday. It's the 2nd of the month, but yesterday was the 1st, White Rabbits, which is every landlord's favourite day, payday. Now, I've checked the rents. All the rents are in bar 1. Now, this is the lady who moved into the property a few weeks ago, and she's already said, to be fair to her yesterday, that she did have a problem setting up the standing order, or at least I hope so. So let's see if that rent is in the bank account by close of play today. Now, yesterday I got some incredible news. One of my mentees, Vanessa, completed on the purchase of her very first investment property. So well done, Vanessa. It's an absolute cracking deal. But not only that, in a couple of weeks' time, all being well, fingers crossed, she will complete on her very second property as well. And this is a particular deal that I sourced for Vanessa, a really good opportunity in Leeds. And in fact, in hindsight, I probably should have gone for it myself. But that's some really good news that I'd like to share with you all today. Again, had a really good meeting with one of my other mentees, Adam, who is new to property and really excited to start on his property journey. Now, for those of you investors that are based in Leeds, or certainly invest in Leeds, we've got a really good opportunity to purchase at the moment. We've got a landlord selling up 16 properties, all in South Leeds in Middleton. We can negotiate a really good discount. So if you are looking to buy a portfolio, it doesn't have to be all 16, it could even be just one, please do reach out. Now, some of these rents are a little on the low side, some of them are market value, but again, that's really good potential to add value, get in there and increase the rents. If you want to as well, you could also do a slight refurb. So if you're looking to buy either one or the whole lot in Leeds, and you're ready to go and you can complete, please do get in touch. We'd love to speak with you. So it's 7 o'clock in the morning, or bright and early. I'm a morning person, so it's a late start for me. I've normally got all my work done by 9 o'clock. So we're at the Alton Hall Hotel near to Leeds for a network meeting this morning, and maybe we'll show and tell you a little bit more about what we're doing here today. But you may have noticed on the previous clip, on the Wednesday clip, that we were still awaiting one rent payment in the bank. Well, I'm happy to share with you today we've got that final rent payment in, all our rents are up to date, and that's great. And here's a little tip for landlords that are struggling with late rent, and I'll share my process with you very briefly. So first of all, if your rents are due on the 1st of the month, great. If not, I'd recommend that you change your rent day to the 1st, or make all your rents come in on that very same day. It just makes the bookkeeping and the accounting so much easier. But on the 2nd of the month, I will then check the rents. I don't check them on the 1st, I check them on the 2nd. It gives people time to make their rent payment if they want to make it manually and not via standing order. So on the 2nd, we'll check the bank statement and the account and make sure all the rents are in. But if a rent payment isn't in, I'll send an email to the tenant, mark it as high importance, something along the lines of rents overdue, it needs to be paid immediately. And we'll give it 24 hours, then we'll come to the 3rd day of the month. Now, on the 3rd day of the month, if that rent is still not in the account, this is when the phone calls start happening. So I'd call the tenant at least twice during that day and try and get an explanation as to what's going on. Now, if I can't actually get through to the tenant, and this is the next day, the 4th, if I have a guarantor for him or her, I'll also call the guarantor. And again, normally the guarantor will pick up, and this is enough to get the rent payment in the account. Because if the guarantor is a mother or father, they're going to give their child a bit of a telling off, and that rent payment will be in the account. So that's how I go about chasing rent that is owed to me. Very rarely actually do I ever have to chase rents, and that's because I've set up the expectations right from the onset. I make sure it's really important that for my new tenants that rent is paid on the 1st of the month. So let's go into the hotel and have some breakfast. So we've had an incredible event, we've met some new people, but also strengthened relationships with existing connections. We've sat with many different people on the table, from mortgage brokers to property investors, property developers, also those that undergo the rent to rent and HMO strategy. A far wide-ranging, diverse group of people, all in the property sphere. So it's really good. I like to come to these events because it's a great way for you to build your network and also introduce yourself to people who are wanting your product or your service. So I was in the sauna last month speaking to a 94-year-old gentleman, and he said, there are 3 things you need to have a good time: great food, great company, and great conversation. And the thing I like about Paul's events is the food is superb, the company is excellent, and the conversation is incredible. So I hope you've enjoyed this week of Behind the Scenes, the very first episode of this series of what it's like to be a property investor, a portfolio landlord. But next week we've got some really exciting things to look forward to. So we have a survey being undertaken on a property, we have a few property inspections, so I'll be taking you along and showing you what we actually do there, what we're looking out for, and why these surveys and valuations are so important. All the very best with your property investing day. Take care.